Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes. Human being, American, YouTube Ronin, concerned third party. I want to welcome everyone to tonight's episode of Unscripted. Already in the chat, North Fairfax, sometimes known as FKHC 2005, also known as Tim, Charlotte Nightstar the Werewolf, host of Films with Friends, the creator of the 10-word review Big Out Presents, Faithful Blue Wrench channel member, the Bird Woman of YouTube. Watch out for her second channel, Fluff Chick Productions. It's Connie Cleary. The tired midnight blogger himself, channel member Curtis Selby. Friend of the channel, Deep Pensac. Joining us from the UK, Shadow of the Raven. I actually have not seen Nefarious. I've heard good things. I'll have to watch it and review it. Missed it in theaters. Glad you enjoyed it. Space Fraggle. And demonetized. I'm sure I will be. All right. During my sophomore year of high school, Hurricane Hugo tore its way up the East Coast. I wound up being evacuated out of my hometown to Hickory, North Carolina, where I ended up getting in the middle of it anyway. I returned home to a lot of devastation. And hello to Age Boomer, host of Geeky Geezers, coming up here at the top of the next hour. I didn't know anyone whose home was not damaged in some fashion. At that time, I lived in a trailer park. We had a tree that broke off in the middle of one of the many tornadoes that touched down during that time. And we got a tree through the roof of the kitchen. So, you know, we were very much affected by that storm. And to this point, it's pretty much the worst one I have personally seen. And I've been through a few. And you have to understand that it's not so much the hurricane itself that causes a lot of the damage. It's the tornadoes that come down, and they do a lot of the damage. And that's what happened during Hugo. Now, not far away from me is a town called McClellanville. And McClellanville was wiped out. A lot of the pictures of the devastation that you're seeing coming out of Asheville right now remind me of the damage I saw at that time during Hugo, especially in the upstate and in the smaller towns. So when the people who are on the ground in North Carolina, in Tennessee, in the upstate of South Carolina, their description of the devastation that they are seeing, I understand because I've seen it. And I have been through it. And hello, Nate. And good evening to JPRPH1, channel member. And the storm surge is correct. Now, I want to preface this by saying that I believe what I am hearing from people who are on the ground, who are from these towns that have been devastated. I am not, however, at this point, willing to believe what I hear out of the mainstream media and what I hear from our government agencies. Because this happened during Hugo. The government agencies dragging their feet. Various politicians who chose to speak on other matters and not care about their constituents. And I want to name one particular local politician who, believe it or not, is still around today, still has his office all these years later, is a man named Jim Clyburn. If you watch CNN at all, you will be familiar with Jim Clyburn because they have him on quite often. And he says a lot of the same crap now that he did back in the day. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but in the town where I lived, and the fact that everyone had damage of some sort that they had to deal with. And I am not making that up. I am not I am not being overly dramatic. Everyone I knew had damage, knew someone who had been injured, knew someone who had died, pets that went missing that never came back. Everyone was affected. It did not matter if you were white, black, Hispanic, Asian. It didn't matter if you were young, old, straight, gay, what political party you belonged to. We were together in rebuilding. If you had a problem with anybody, your shit was on pause, and you worked together to clean up, to rebuild. And Jim Clyburn went on television and the first words out of his mouth were, well, we're not talking enough about the black issues. Well, let me tell you, Mr. Clyburn, about the black issues. The black issues are the same as the white issues, are the same as the Hispanic issues, are the same as the gay issues. Everybody is in danger. Everybody is dealing with having to rebuild their homes or maybe even bury a loved one. And you are not helping. You are not helping us while this devastation is taking place. FEMA waited forever to get to people, even in that situation. Now, granted, when it came to Hugo, they did move much faster than they appeared to be moving with this. And it wasn't any of this $750 loan crap. Now, we rebuilt, and you can see to this day the effects of that storm. +30 years later, you can still see it. And we've had other storms, some stronger than others, and we've made it through. Now, the area that I'm in, there were power outages, there were trees down. But where I was, everyone generally got through it unscathed. But in the upstate, in North Carolina, in Tennessee, it was a different story. What they are dealing with right now in those areas is very much what happened during Hugo. The wind damage, entire towns being swept away by the rain and the flooding. The impassable roads, people not being able to get out, who are now in danger of running out of supplies. Now, we live in a different world. Social media is more prevalent. We have divisions in this country that we did not have at the time that Hurricane Hugo took place. Divisions that have been propped up by the very people whose job it is to keep us from being divided. The government is supposed to be chosen by us, registered voters, legally registered voters, and preferably ones who are alive. Our government is chosen by us and is supposed to work for us. This is something that has been forgotten by our politicians. They have forgotten, and there are exceptions. Okay, don't get me wrong. And I believe that there are exceptions on both sides of the aisle. Not many, mind you, but they're there. But for the most part, they have forgotten that they work for us. They forget that we, the people, hold the pink slips on them. We voted them in. We can vote them out. And this is why I believe the Democrats should be angry right now. They voted for Joe Biden. Right or wrong, he was their candidate. They snuck in Kamala Harris on what could be considered no less than a palace coup. And I am no Joe Biden fan. I never have been. This guy has done nothing in 50 years. But what happened to him was wrong. What is going on right now is wrong. And we have people who are allegedly in the leadership of this country who are not showing any leadership. This is not a photo op. This is not the time to go and run off with your Hollywood buddies and have a fundraiser. There are other people who need that money. Go fundraise for them. And hello to John Paradise. Now, there are those politicians that I believe are being paid off by other parties to continue these what I now refer to as forever wars. It's why the Israelis and the Palestinians can't keep things together. It's why we have this whole situation in Ukraine going on right now. We give billions of dollars away to prop up other wars in countries that do not want us, and that have been fighting each other forever. We can no longer afford financially or metaphorically to pay for these wars. We have people right now in this country that are hurting because of this storm, because of other issues that have taken place. We have a homeless issue in this country that we should not have. We have mentally ill people in the street not getting the care that they need. Now you see this picture that I had Fletcher add to the thumbnail, and thank you once again to Fletcher Williams. If these states that were in need had a high population of Ukrainians, hell be damn sure they would be getting that relief money. The relief money that our government suddenly does not have. They print up millions, maybe even billions a day and give it to other countries. You can't print up some money and give it to people who actually need it. I have to wonder why that is. Why are these other countries suddenly so much more important than the country you have been elected to lead? Why this storm? Why the fires in Maui? Why are chemical plants blowing up? Why are food processing plants catching on fire? There is a breakdown of infrastructure. We are dealing with people who are more interested in lining their own pockets with our hard-earned tax dollars than they are in leading the country. What did Reagan say? The worst words that you can hear are, I am from the government and I am here to help. These people are not here to help. We are on our own out here. The people who we elected to lead us refuse to do so. The entertainment industry that is supposed to help us through times like these say that we are the cause of the problem. And that is the point of tonight's show, ladies and gentlemen. We know the score now, don't we? The politicians, the so-called elite, Hollywood, the mainstream media, they have all made it abundantly clear whose side they are on. And it's not on ours. It's not on the side of the people. That's for damn sure. They've made that very clear. They've made it very clear what they think of us. There are no superheroes. No one's coming to save us. So we're going to have to save ourselves in the end. Watch your back. Watch out for your neighbors. Do what you can to help. Now, the death toll from the storm, according to the mainstream media, stands at 200. We've heard stories of people being swept away in the floodwaters, literally, children literally ripped out of the hands of their parents. Now, I know a couple of people who are closer to some of these areas than I certainly am. And what I'm hearing from them is that the death toll is actually much higher. And the fact that that's not being reported, I find troubling. The damage that we've seen so far is bad enough. But what I am saying is based on what I've been hearing from people, like I said, closer to the area of the storms. Is that there are areas that are much worse that we are not seeing. And I don't know if that footage is being deliberately suppressed. And I'm not accusing anyone of that, because there's also the possibility that it's so horrific they don't want us to see. So I don't know. But I'll believe it. I have also been told of, and I have also seen footage of, police officers in certain areas threatening to arrest volunteer relief workers. I have heard stories that certain agencies are pocketing donation money. And I want everyone to go out and donate, do what you can to help. But make sure that if you do give money or supplies, that you do it through a reputable organization. That will make sure that the money gets into the hands of people who actually need it, that supplies will get into the hands of the people who actually need it, not for some government agency or some law enforcement organization, quote unquote, because they don't need to pocket that money. But it's happening. Why did it take FEMA a week to get to what they referred to as the storm zone? Why did it take a week? Why not immediately? People need help now. People who are cut off from the outside world because they don't have internet, because the phones are out, because they don't have any power. How are those people in that situation supposed to go to some fucking website and apply for this loan? And this is not money that they give to you. It is a loan. And they can disallow that loan. How are they supposed to go on to the internet when they don't have internet? Oh, well, people can come down here to downtown Bumblefuck or whatever, and we'll be waiting for them in the parking lot. The roads are cut off. How are they going to get to you? You have to go in and extract these people from the cut off areas. And if you can't do it, then civilian pilots are going to have to go in there and do it. And they are going to have to perform the extraction. But you're threatening to arrest the pilots who do. Show me where that makes sense. If you won't do the job, civilians are going to have to do it. Why are you threatening to arrest those civilians? If you were doing your job, they would not need to be there. You were not placed in office to make money. You were placed in office to lead a country at times like these. And if you refuse, maybe it's time we got somebody else. And excuse me, but I do not trust an old man who, when he's asked about the storm, goes, what storm? What storm are you talking about? Maybe I don't trust Montel Williams' former third string bang to do the job. I'm sorry, but I'm angry. And I think we all should be. This is not the country I grew up in. I don't recognize it anymore. In Hugo, everybody, some left-wing politicians notwithstanding, we pulled together, we helped each other out, and we rebuilt. To those of you who are in the middle of devastation, you're in my thoughts. I will do what I can with what little I have to help you if I can. To anyone who threw supplies into the back of a truck, and drove wherever they had to for as long as they had to, who did what they had to do, to the civilian pilots who are flying choppers in and performing rescues, to you, I commend you. You're the real life superheroes in all of this. And maybe someday we're going to find out exactly what happened out there. And maybe someday we'll find out who is responsible for some of the other things that changed the trajectory of this country, who brought us to the place where we are now. It is time to take our country back. I don't trust the mainstream media. I do not trust our current leadership. And that shiny gold veneer that used to be over Hollywood, that's gone too. These people don't care about us. They don't like us. And they've made it very clear that they'd rather see us dead. Well, I ain't ready to die yet. And I don't think you are either. You are better, and you deserve better. And maybe someday, real soon, we're going to see some real change. I want to thank everyone who's following along tonight on Twitter. I can't see you, but I know that you're there. I want to thank everyone that watches the replay. Everyone who is lurking in the background, which is quite all right. You do not have to engage with the chat, just as long as you enjoy the show. Hit the like, share out the stream. And of course, if you are new to the channel and you like what you see, please subscribe. This is the road to 3,000. I want to thank everyone who joined us in the chat tonight. Aged Boomer, his show, Geeky Geezers, starts in 10 minutes. I want to thank the Tired Midnight blogger, Curtis Selby. From the UK, Shadow of the Raven. I want to thank Connie, Tim, Nate, D. Penzak, John Paradise, JPRPH1, Space Fraggle, Big Al Presents, Charlotte Nightstar the Werewolf, from HQ in all points north, south, east, west, and beyond. Good night. Take care. Stay strong. Be safe. Because this is how we win.